If your alien looks human, has human organs, and behaves human, it's not useful to think of it as alien anymore.
Okay, exactly. See, that's my point. Like, if I don't see them or experiencing them, they don't exist. How do we know this is not an alien? Isn't an alien named
Hello? Are you an alien? Hello?
Okay, this is why a lot of your colleagues don't like you. I gotta be honest with you.
Why do UFO sightings persist? Are at least some of them figments of our imagination? Or are we missing something? In my latest book, Take Me to Your Leader, I actually explore what's possible in this universe, given the universal laws of physics. If the aliens are out there, the laws of physics will dictate how they find us. I also narrated the audiobook, so I'm duly informed that the audiobook and the print version are available now wherever books are sold. This is Star Talk. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, your personal astrophysicist. We've got a Cosmic Queries edition, one I'm very much looking forward to. And to help me out here, we got Paul Mercurio. How you doing, man?
I'm good, buddy. Good to see you again.
All right. Comedian Paul Mercurio. And sometimes we cannot do a show without our geek in chief. That would be Chuck Liu. Charles Liu. How you doing, man?
Go. Come on.
Doing very well. Thank you so much, Neil.
All right.
Hi, Paul.
Old-time friend and colleague, Charles Liu. And
That's not what you were saying about him. It was a lot of like, Charles.
So you are the Baron, and remind me of your title.
Baron?
Yeah, he's a Baron.
Oh,
Baron.
congratulations, sir.
Please genuflect.
Oh.
In your chair. No, don't have a stroke. Just genuflect. Yes, I'm a Baron now. I was knighted by my man.
Did you have a title? I don't remember. That means you don't. If you're trying to think.
No, I don't think I do.
We'll work on that.
Yeah. It's really okay. Right. It's really okay.
Let me remind people. Oh my gosh, the handy quantum physics answer book.
Now that's a book, not that thing you got.
Oh, no.
Come on.
Well, my book, you just talking smack about my little book. Yeah, that's true. Okay. By Charles Liu. This is not your first rodeo with the handy answer franchise, right?
It is not.
What were your other handy answers?
Handy astronomy and handy physics.
Handy answer book in astronomy, physics,
and quantum physics. Yeah, we were able to dig really deeply into a lot of the mysteries that we couldn't cover in a big encyclopedic book like that.
And there's nothing like a mysteries in quantum physics.
I want one. I want you to sign it for me.
It would be my pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks. This is for me, it's a significant contribution to the literature of science that's trying to reach the general public. Because everyone loves quantum physics and no one knows how to talk about it. There it is.
I have a book.
Did I ask you?
It's the 2000 best fart jokes, and it's really good.
Wow.
Today's topic is aliens.
Love it.
How could that not be the topic of every possible conversation everyone ever has?
Exactly.
Aliens. But before I begin, we are recording this on your birthday.
That is correct. It is my birthday.
And I closed my office. Frankly, I forgot it was your birthday. So I said, I scrambled, what can I get him? And so I went into deep in my archives, into my drawer. And I have...
What is this? It looks pretty
It is
cool.
a blank piece of paper.
It is a pocket protector called Nerd Pride.
I love it.
Because you're a co-host on a science show.
I'm officially a nerd.
We're turning you into a nerd.
Yes.
So let me see if this fits in that pocket.
All right, there we go. Unzip it. There you go. There we go. Hang on a second. Let me put my... Okay, let's go. Lady,
Was
Jerry Lewis.
Jerry Lewis a nerd?
Yeah,
in that role.
In that role. That was the thing that broke him out.
That's true.
Hey, lady, David, how you? Okay, hang on. Let me load it up. Wait a minute. I got to load it up now.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to have your red. You got to have your blue.
You put it all the way in.
There you go. And you got the thing. And then we got the green.
RGB.
RGB.
And then
there you
this
go.
is my regular use pen right there.
There you go. All right.
I am already 10 IQs points smarter. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. This is Cosmic Queries. So people wrote in. They know that the topic is aliens.
Wonderful.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be abducted.
Oh, wow.
All the time I spend out alone as an astronomer, you're with your telescope alone in the dark sky looking up at the stars.
Did you want to be probed too?
No, that's no. Did I say that?
No, just saying.
I do. Come on.
This is like Just barely out yet. Take me to your leader.
Nice.
Wonderful.
Oh yeah, this is like an early mock-up of the cover, but it looks like with it's got the traditional flying.
Why
saucer.
don't you put your head sticking out there, Charles and mine, like we're on the ship and we've been taken away.
Do this.
Oh,
we'll have looks of anguish, and you'll be really happy as you're getting probed going to another planet.
Yeah, so it's all in here. It's take me to your leader. It's what should you do when an alien walks up to you and says, "Take me to your leader."
How do you know that they're not already here, though? In a
we
form.
know. We talk about that as well.
In a form.
There's very little you're going to think of about aliens that I have not addressed in this book.
Oh, I think
I'm just saying. Because if you're a fly-by-night alien thinker, I'm a total alien
Are you
thinker.
challenging my alien thinking?
Totally am.
All right, here we go. Now it's a throwdown.
So clearly, I'm not the only one in the universe thinking about aliens.
No, this is a big
Congress
topic.
was thinking about aliens.
Yes.
All right. And what we care about is not what I think. I want to know what our Patreon supporters
We got some
think.
really great questions out
And this is the entry level membership in the Patreon club.
I understand that 10% of those people are aliens from another planet.
I'm not authorized to comment on that.
Here we go.
Okay.
All right.
What do you
Hello,
have?
Dr. Tyson. This is Adam Jones. Hello, Dr. Tyson. Assuming an intelligent extraterrestrial society has learned to travel at the speed of light, what would acceleration look like for them? For instance, my car accelerates and I feel it. The space shuttle launches producing an acceleration of 3G. Would something going from 0 miles an hour to full speed of light just be obliterated? What would the power time curve look like for acceleration?
There's in that book, I talk about this because one of the wow factors of flying saucers is that they're there hovering and then they instantly hit 1,000 miles an hour.
But they have mass, so they can't reach speed of light. Well,
no, I'm not even talking about the speed of light. I'm just talking about what people see.
Like interstellar speeds.
Like if you go from 0 to 1,000 miles an hour in 1 second, you can calculate how many G's that is. That's 50 G's. If you're made of anything with molecules, you're a pile of goo at the end of that. So, but plus, Charles, the people speak of this happening with no sound.
That's right.
Now, we've made great progress over the decades.
That's right.
With making loud things less loud.
That's right.
But I think there's something we cannot overcome, and that's if you break the sound barrier.
Yeah. It's always a challenge because when you are moving faster than sound or go from slower than sound to faster than sound, you create a shock wave in the medium that you're traveling.
And that's what we hear.
And that's the sonic boom.
Yeah.
Right. So being able to go from below sonic to supersonic, you have to be careful so as not to cause that kind of boom or to control it in a way that will not.
How are you going to do that and not make a boom?
Well,
I don't think that's possible. You think there's a way you can make
people have been working on it for a really long time. And our astronautic and aeronautic engineering colleagues have much better ways of doing it. But one of the things that we tried to figure out when we've made the first aircraft go to Mach 1, as you get closer and closer to the speed of sound, your vibration increases, your shaking gets worse and worse and worse. You got to just pop right through it in a quick motion in order to reduce the amount of damage that your vehicle is getting when it's going through the speed of sound.
What you just said presupposes, are you slowing down a little bit as you get closer to it?
No, you're trying to speed up more and more and more and more. But if you
reduce the time it takes before you cross that barrier.
Okay.
Right. Mm-hmm. So that speed, it makes a big difference. Now, when we're talking about the speed of light, that's a whole different dynamic because you're traveling in space, you don't have the atmosphere to worry about. Instead, you do have this acceleration issue, right? In fictional spaces, like say Star Trek, you have this thing called an inertial dampener, which makes it so that you can stand on the bridge and go to warp speed and not have to worry about falling over. But in real life...
But at least they thought about that.
That's right.
So that it's a thing to compensate for.
Well, they thought about it after the fandom told them, hey, you know what? You have to take into account this.
And were you at the top signature on that letter?
I was too young to be allowed to do that.
But you would have, had you been. All right.
If I had the chance. But the story with that travel is that we slowly accelerate and go until we get faster and faster and faster until about halfway. Then you turn the spaceship around and start slowing it down.
If you accelerate at 1G,
yes.
When do you get to half the speed of light? It's pretty quick. It's like 6 months or something.
It's not that long.
Yeah.
Right. So you can get very, very close.
Because you're constantly increasing your speed and you're just living in 1G as though you're on Earth.
That's correct.
On your spaceship.
But to bring this back to the alien, if they can't reach the speed of light through acceleration, is there any known physics that would
No, he's saying
bypass that limit?
can if you do it steadily enough.
Right.
Yeah.
You do
Is
it
that
slowly.
the physics that allow them to bypass that limit?
That's you don't bypass the speed of light. What you do is you approach the speed of light gently and gradually. That way
Much
you don't
like
get
a relationship.
one hopes.
Yes. Hold my hand.
Some things
The
go
speed
for
of light
Yeah.
is not just a good idea. It's the law.
Okay.
I'm like a state trooper.
But this idea of speeding up slowly and then slowing down slowly keeps our bodies from being plastered against the back of the wall.
Right.
But it
As a pile
also
of goo.
gives us an automatic free gravity.
But is the barrier to interstellar travel like speed or the energy required to sustain acceleration close to light speed?
For me, it's speed. Once you get to any sustained speed,
Yeah.
if you're traveling at, say, 99% of the speed of light compared to me, you can turn off your engines and you'll just keep going at that speed as long as you're not speeding up and you're not things slowing you down like you're hitting asteroids or things like that.
By the way, no one knew that until Galileo did experiments.
That's right.
Everyone before that said, everything in motion comes to rest. That was very Aristotelian. Without knowing that if you make it really smooth and you reduce the friction, it'll just continue forever.
So it's not a matter of being able to get to that speed. It's a matter of how fast will you get to the next spot, or how long will it take for you to get to the next destination? And even at the speed of light, the nearest star system other than our solar system is more than 4 years worth of travel away. So you just have to be patient.
Does distance shrink for them if time slows enough during their light speed?
That's a great question. It turns out that space in front of them does shrink for them, but it doesn't shrink for you. So that when you
the observer.
Right. When you, the observer, are watching them, they don't seem like that they're going less. When they are moving very fast compared to you, it does seem like to them that the distances are less, but then they slow down to match your universe again. And when they are sharing your frame of reference, then their distance has returned to the size that you see because they see it at the
But a consequence
same
of this
speed.
is that they will not age the 4 years.
Correct.
That the time that you see would have occupied. And they did this famously with the gargantuan planet in Interstellar.
Yep.
Where you have the different experiences of time. So there's do you live long enough to go the distance you need to go to arrive at your destination before you die?
Right.
And do you have the energy to sustain that acceleration to reach the high speeds
But
that
it's
you
not
want?
just the energy, but the environment has to be right to sustain that, right? There can't be any friction, right? Any of that, right?
Yeah, well, empty space, that's not usually a problem.
Yeah. Well, you never know. There might be stuff.
Little space gremlins pulling you back.
There is a really good science fiction novel called The Songs of Distant Earth that Arthur C. Clarke wrote, where he created an idea where there was a spaceship that could move very, very close to the speed of light, but every once in a while had to stop and pick up ice. Turned out that the energy produced by the engines was being drawn by the 0 point energy that surrounds all of space. And so that fictional thing allowed that spacecraft to travel as far as we wanted with unlimited amounts of propulsion. But they just had to bring ice up and create a big shield in front of the spacecraft so that when micrometeoroids and things like that, the interstellar space stuff, as small as it is, will keep hitting this ice. And that's like a shield that prevents the spacecraft from being damaged.
My understanding was he had a cooler of beer and he needed ice.
Only one? That's incredible.
It might feel like aliens are suddenly everywhere in the news. New sightings, government disclosures, mysterious objects that defy explanation. But if you look closely, not all of these stories carry the same weight. So the real question isn't just what's being reported, it's how it's being framed and who's doing the framing. That's why we've partnered with Ground News since 2024. Their app and website give us a data-driven approach to reading the news by pulling articles from over 50,000 sources worldwide in one place. You can easily compare how different sources cover the same story and get a visual breakdown on the bias, reliability of a source, and who owns it. Take this recent story about Trump's order to release government files on aliens. If you scroll down to the headlines, you can quickly compare how it's being covered across 600 different sources. Scientific American mentions that the released evidence would obscure scientific research for extraterrestrial life, while multiple sources on the right focus on the political implications and shock factor. Ground News' blind spot feed doesn't allow any of that to be missed by showing stories that are disproportionately reported by either side of the political spectrum. We've been partnered with Ground News since 2024 for their transparency and because they're fully subscriber funded, so there aren't corporate interests deciding what you can and cannot see. If that's the kind of world you want to live in, you can get the same unlimited Vantage plan we use for 40% off at ground.news/StarTalk or by scanning the QR code on the screen.
Charles,
Yeah.
this is an advanced future thing,
Yes.
and his force field is a hunk of ice. Is that the
Exactly.
best
I
they
was
can come up
thinking the
with?
same thing.
Really?
It was a fascinating irony. Obviously,
okay.
it was a plot device,
Yeah,
right?
okay,
But
okay.
that allowed Arthur C. Clarke to imagine a connection with humans that had gone before the spacecraft went. And so almost like another alien civilization, but they were all human biologically speaking. It was very, very interesting.
Hello, Dr. Tyson. My name is Daniel, and I'm in Madeira, California.
Love
Excellent.
I've heard you talk before about how aliens in movies are too humanoid and that they would likely take a different form. I'm wondering what you think they would really look like or how they'd behave, gas or liquid form, or something we can't even see or sense. Thank you.
Yeah. So in Take Me to Your Leader,
Yay. Good book.
I talk about ideas that people have had about non-traditional aliens. But let's just first start with the Blob.
Yeah.
Love me some Blob. All right, 1958. Stephen McQueen, how he was credited in that film. It was a non-vertebrate.
Did we bother to
Thing.
explain what comprises the Blob?
No, because it's alien and it wants to just eat you.
Okay.
Just imagine a big amoeba, what we have now on microscopic level, but it's just big.
Big.
Yeah, it's big. It's macroscopic,
Yeah.
and it just there
Yeah.
it is.
Could you keep doing that? That feels good.
But the other ideas have come before this, like Fred Hoyle.
Yes.
He wrote a short story. Fred Hoyle is infamous for
The Big Bang.
for naming the Big Bang
Yes.
pejoratively, because he was into the steady state universe, and he said, "You got this Big Bang." It started and the name stuck. But so he's
Well, maybe the aliens they turned themselves into what they think we can understand. They observed us and said, blob is about as much as they could figure out. Okay.
Yeah, but except that the blob ate you. So the blob was not seeking
Okay, why are we
interspecies
always assuming
communication.
the alien either wants to probe us or eat us?
Well, I'm getting there.
Why
So-
aren't they coming and they're just like, you know what? I heard you got some nice up at Saks.
Here's the
I
thing.
heard that too.
From childhood, we know that it's way worse to be eaten than it is to just die.
Versus
Okay,
like,
all of those childhood nursery, not the nursery rhyme, what do you call
because
that?
it's a slow
Fables,
death.
fairy tales.
The fairy
Yeah.
tales. The fairy tales.
Yeah.
There's Goldilocks. Is she going to be eaten by the bear?
Yeah.
There's Little Red Riding Hood. She'd be eaten by the wolf. The three pigs. Aliens that eat you is more terrifying than an alien that just kills you. That's my only point. And this is left over from childhood.
Yeah, but killing and eating, it's the same thing.
It is intellectually, but emotionally, this is why Jurassic Park
It's
is
just
so
a form
devastating.
of death.
I know, but emotionally, do you want to be bitten in half? No. So here's my point.
I would,
Can I get back to Fred Hoyle?
if you must.
Okay, so Fred Hoyle imagined a life form
Yes.
in the form of a cloud,
Yes, he did.
an interstellar cloud.
Yeah.
There was a sort of electrical synapses within the cloud that constituted its intelligence. Think of the human brain, but just now on the scale of something larger than a solar system.
That's right.
It came in and it blocked sunlight. And the scientist, because it had no harm, it didn't want to harm us. It was just being alive. And the scientists figured out how to communicate with it. And they said, look, we're down here. And the cloud was incredulous that something so tiny as we could have any intelligence at all. Because it's a big cloud,
It's very-
right? It can't wrap its cloud around us. Okay, but it realized...
But the cloud doesn't have a Jiffy Lube, so how sophisticated can it be?
But the scientists figure out how to communicate,
Yes.
and the scientists reason with it, and so it opens a hole between the sun and Earth, because it had blocked Earth. And then the humans are skeptical of this relationship that the scientists have put forth, and they want to send nukes at it.
Yep.
And so the scientists warn the cloud, which is like treason.
Yes.
Right? That's
Yeah, nukes coming up your ass. Hit the road.
And so the cloud, in response, says, all right, we could snuff you out like this, but we'll just teach you a lesson. So all the nukes get launched, and the cloud redirects them back to Earth.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they all explode on Earth and kill thousands of, not millions, but thousands of people.
Yeah.
So this is a life form that is hardly shown in Hollywood because it's not an actor donning a costume.
Well, but
and it's not a vertebrate thing with a face and shoulders and arms
But
and
here's
fingers
the
and legs.
supposition I always have a problem with, which is that we talk about aliens on Earth, and it's sort of a black and white sort of discussion, which is if I don't see them or experiencing them, they don't exist. How do we know this is not an alien? Right? How do I know my Wi-Fi isn't an alien named?
Hello, are you an alien? Hello.
Okay, this is why a lot of your
is.
colleagues don't like you. I gotta be honest with you.
The IMDb, Internet Movie Database, lists, what is it? It's 3,000 movies, TV shows, products, games that have alien in the title or alien in the description.
Wow.
Like thousands. Some of them are fun titles, like My Stepmother's an Alien. My favorite is Cowboys and Aliens.
Yes.
I saw that movie.
I did not.
Yeah, that had Daniel Craig in it.
Harrison Ford.
And was he in it too?
I believe so.
Really? Okay. Let's go back to if it walks like a duck, acts like a duck, it looks like a duck, it's a duck. Okay? If your alien looks human, has human organs, and behaves human, it's not useful to think of it as alien anymore.
Okay, exactly. See, that's my point. Like, if an alien shows up and it looks like you or you, I'm going to be bummed out because I'm thinking, oh, this is going to be how sophisticated can they be if this is the best they can do?
Did you ever watch reruns of My Favorite Martian?
Yes.
That was an alien that was just kind of hanging out and was just like your funny, cheerful uncle, right?
But I have to laugh because I'm old enough that I watched My Favorite Martian.
Yes, exactly.
You didn't have to say, did I watch reruns? Okay.
Well,
My Favorite Martian. So what passed for an alien in the 60s, in the early 60s, was he just had he went into Martian mode. He looked human in every other way, but he had two antennae.
Right, but let's talk about E.T. for a minute. So Steven Spielberg is a brilliant director, right? And he surrounds himself with brilliant people that make movies. And they still had to give it a head and eyes and a finger.
This is my issue.
And it's like, really?
They're all vertebrate.
Right.
And, vertebrates in the tree of life are kind of the only ones that have faces as we think of as faces. Invertebrates, octopus has eyes, but we don't think of it as a face in the way we normally.
Right.
We owe our faces to fish, okay, as our vertebrate ancestors. So that's our bias. It's a powerful bias.
Okay, but they might evolve with no faces at all, which basically puts them one step ahead of people on Zoom.
Exactly. Exactly. So that's why I spent half a chapter just talking about aliens that do not match anything Hollywood has ever thought of.
This is Sam Couch. Hello, Dr. Tyson. Sam here from Boulder, Colorado.
All right.
If an alien species visits our planet, it likely means they found a way to not destroy themselves. What would be most excited to learn from this alien species? What would be the first question you would ask, assuming we have a way to communicate?
My first question would be, how did you not destroy yourselves?
Yes.
Right?
I would ask a different question. How the hell did you get here? That's what I would ask.
And they turn out, I bet you, to be quite related. Because it is well known that if you take a system that you can travel some fraction of the speed of light, it is much easier to use it as a weapon than as a mode of transportation.
Yes.
Yeah, and anything advanced such as that.
That's right.
And humans are really good at making weapons out of new discoveries.
That's true. My question would be, did your civilization go through a phase like where the smartest technology you came up with, like a cell phone, was used exclusively to watch cat videos? That would be my question. And then they would immediately
That
leave
would
the
never
planet.
happen.
Do they
I
look
don't
like
think that
cats,
would
though?
ever happen.
Do they look like cats?
They're Oh, no, well, they're
See,
alien
that's the
cats.
thing.
Alien
Right. There you go.
You've got 3 heads
That'd be even
and a
worse.
probe. How about, are there any questions you discovered that can't be answered, no matter how advanced?
I would. So here's what I do.
Things.
So,
I'd like to see what they think their limits are.
Here it is.
Oh,
So
that's
I
a
have a
great
section
idea.
here called Alien Intelligence, and I explore what we could share with them to convince them that we have some intelligence.
Oh.
And one,
Well, don't tell them we pay $80 to watch sweaty men fight on pay-per-view. Don't tell them
I
that.
won't tell them that. I promise.
That definitely takes us off the list of intelligence.
I would share the prime numbers.
Prime numbers should be in there. However, I got a better thing.
They don't need prime numbers. They're more
No.
sophisticated.
Carl Friedrich Gauss.
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
that hack.
Yes. Gauss, brilliant, top 5 mathematicians ever. Would you agree?
Top 10.
Top 10.
Carl Friedrich Gauss was an astronomer as well. Yes. He did some astronomical discoveries also.
In fact, the method of least squares was invented by him to predict the position of an asteroid after it disappeared behind the sun. He took these data and said, where will it be when it comes out the other side?
Well, that's not that hard, is it?
If no one has ever done it before, it's hard. Okay? Yeah, no, you have to know that was something you could do.
Yes.
And he figured, it was Gauss who did that.
I
Right?
believe so.
Okay. So he said, here's what you do. Let's go into the tundra where there are no trees, and then bring in trees and create a huge triangle.
3, 4, 5 triangle?
Yes. Well, any triangle wouldn't matter. Okay. Create a right triangle. Then create wheat fields and make squares coming off of each side of the triangle. Do you remember your Pythagorean theorem?
Yes.
Tell me.
I can't remember exactly. But I remember.
Okay. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay. These are the sides of the triangle. And remember the hypotenuse? Okay. Since A squared plus B, what is A squared? That's the area of a square coming off the side of the triangle. So draw a square. Draw a square here. Draw a square there. And then you can, at night, set it afire. And then aliens on other planets would see this and know that's not random. This is, people know math.
Yeah.
People, and so it's a way to broadcast in a day when there was no, electromagnetic broadcast. So that's one way to show that you're intelligent. And now the prime number thing, Carl Sagan had prime numbers in the original Contact novel,
That's right.
where they were embedded in the signals.
2, 3, 5,
Yeah.
7.
However, that's counting in base 10.
If you just have dots, you could count in base 100. Just put dots.
But we're
2 dots,
presuming
3
they
dots,
count in base
5
10 and
dots,
we don't
7
know
dots.
However you count them, that's
However
what it is.
you count them,
I
that's
guess-
what they
I
are. You
guess
don't have
that
to
works.
put numerals. That
Yeah,
would be
that's
tough.
right.
Well,
That's
I'd
right.
like to know how they think about consciousness and purpose. Like, do they see intelligence as purely biological or something like more fundamental to the universe?
For that, they'd probably want to read like our tort law. Right? They want to see what our statutes are.
Yeah, exactly.
You mean the aliens to try to
yeah.
learn about us?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's what you would see. And then you would see all
But
the
no,
different
I'm still going to
variations.
start with science and math. Math is the language of the
But there's
universe.
also, why are we assuming they don't have consciousness and purpose like we do? Why are we?
That's later. I'll figure that out later. I want to know if we have any common language at all, and that's not going to happen by reading tort law to them.
I don't know, maybe.
What?
This is the point about language, right? You guys know my oldest daughter, Hannah, is trained as a linguist as well, right? And she has commonly...
And a classicist, too, right?
Yes, as a classicist and a religious studies person and speaks Italian, blah, blah, blah. She's pretty awesome. But never minding
Says
that.
Dad.
Yeah.
Exactly.
No question.
I'm Italian. Let me
But
talk to her.
she
See.
has told me many times, and including just recently, we're talking about the movie Arrival. The way that they attempted to show intelligence was to share a language. And the translation of the language was the thing that allowed the greatest connection. Eventually, the protagonist, played by Amy Adams in the movie, learned so
As the
much.
linguist.
Yes, as the linguist, learned so much about their language, actually starting to understand it, began to understand the nature of time itself.
Time as they perceive it
That's
and
right.
experience it.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about music for a minute and E.T. and sort of
that's Close Encounters of the Third
Close
Kind.
Encounter. I'm sorry,
Oh,
Close
Get your
Encounters.
movie straight.
Okay, well, it's all like,
You're my co-host on this show. Don't confuse Close Encounters and E.T.
Yeah, it's all that Spielberg guy.
the theme from Close Encounters was also used as a joke. The 5 musical
Which is
notes.
based in math.
Yes.
Right?
Was also used in the movie Moonraker, James Bond movie, as a key code to enter a special secret door.
Oh, I did not know that.
That was for fun. That was a joke.
Charles, how do you know that? Okay, I got that out of my system.
These days, we're used to getting things delivered on demand. Groceries, a new gadget, or the latest book, expanding your view of the universe. And now, you can add T-Mobile 5G home internet to that list. Just order from T-Mobile and enjoy same-day delivery with DoorDash. And you can set it up yourself in about 15 minutes. No advanced engineering degree required. That means more time doing the things you actually enjoy, like streaming a space documentary or going down a rabbit hole about exoplanets, asteroids, or whatever's pulling your curiosity. And those online explorations are a lot easier with the fastest 5G home internet. So, if you're moving into a new place or just ready to upgrade your connection to something a little more advanced, visit t-mobile.com/home internet to check availability and get your home internet delivered today. Same-day delivery for most internet-eligible customers. See if it's an option during checkout. Fastest according to Ookla Speed Test Intelligence data, second half 2025. All rights reserved.
Hello, Dr. Tyson. This is Jonathan Lott from a lot of ideas.com in Wiley, Texas. Okay. A longtime listener and recent Patreon supporter.
Nice.
This is my first of many future questions. Sci-fi films like Arrival, Interstellar, and Independence Day suggest humanity unites when faced with a larger external threat. That's a good point. In reality, do you think lasting global unification is possible? What kind of threat, if any, could sustain it for centuries? Would a more severe pandemic or even an alien encounter override our divisions? This guy's depressing. Also, if humans had evolved together on a single landmass like Pangea, might we have developed more unified cultures and fewer conflicts? Thanks for helping.
Well, there's a lot going on there.
There is.
Let me lead off by saying that in 1987, Ronald Reagan addressed the UN, and it was still the Cold War. Remember, might have been 86, somewhere in the mid 80s. He's president. He's addressing the UN and says, "Imagine how together we would be." I'm paraphrasing here. If we faced a threat, an alien threat from outer space, our differences would dissolve because we'd come together to fight the common enemy.
Or would they? See, what I would do is I would sell out a country, and then I'd partner with the aliens, and I would coexist like that.
Who invited you on the show? So I think he's largely correct, because that plays out in politics every day. There's the enemy,
yes,
and they're our enemy. So we all bet it happened in Nazi Germany. Very easy. It happened almost too easily. So to the point where if everyone is identical in one island, I think we will still find ways to kill one another. And I wrote about that in a different book, in my Starry Messenger book on conflict and resolution, where you can talk about, well, we don't like you because your skin is dark, or because you pray to a different god, or because you sleep with different people, or because you speak with a different accent. There are all these reasons you can give. Okay, what was World War I and II about? Right. Those were white Christians slaughtering other white Christians. Right. If they can find reasons to do that, then all these other reasons, you're going to come up with reasons to want to tribalize and kill. That is my absence of confidence in our species.
On the other hand,
I need an on the other hand here, so thank you.
On the other hand, Star Trek does provide an alternative explanation for unification. It is a peaceful visit from the Vulcans in 2063, April the 5th, that convinces humans who at that time were still recovering from a world war that we should unite and just be nice to each other. Instead of uniting against the Vulcans as a common enemy, they were like, hey, clearly we're not alone anymore. Let's just get along.
Wait, this happened what year? What year was this?
April 5th, 2063 was first contact.
That's when I check out.
That's when I'm
the
checking
problem
in.
with that is that
April
there's
5th.
April
like
5th.
you know the day of the.
Just watch Star Trek First Contact. It's right there.
well, it had to
Fine.
be April 5th. The Vulcans had to get their tax returns in on the 15th, so they had to go back. Their accountants were working on their. So the issue for me is you're never
Are
going
we
to get
enlightened enough to do that?
No,
That's-
because
I don't think so.
the flip side of that is that question is there will always be part of the species where cohesion is not their main agenda; it's dominance.
Right.
We see it in the animal kingdom. I don't think that ever gets bred out of a species.
We are the animal kingdom.
We humans have a choice to decide whether or not we want to act on impulse A or impulse
But there
B.
are some humans that make that choice consciously, that it is more important to them to be dominant than to coexist and get
is that
along.
when you see it in other animals, it's kind of in their nature. We don't believe they necessarily have the choice.
It's in the nature of human beings now.
Like, does the new top lion who comes in, who displaced the other one, really have a choice to not kill all the lion cubs
I don't know
of the
what
previous
world are
lion?
you two guys
They
living
do.
in that you don't see it in our day-to-day life now, that there are people that are just so clearly that cohesion, coexistence is not in their agenda, and it's to sort of dominate.
It's very tribal.
Yes.
Yeah.
But are they the majority? Do they hold policy-making power or military power? At any given time, there's always a give and take in humans, and I don't see why it wouldn't be true
Well,
for
the key there
aliens
is give
too.
and take, because there are times they are the majority, and that's
Yes,
the problem.
that's right.
Yeah.
That's how we
And
had
so-
World War I and World War II.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah,
So
okay.
one could imagine that after, for example, the Vulcans visit Star Trek on again April 5th, 2063. Okay.
I got that
Then
marked in my calendar.
The humans basically decided that the majority of humans decided that they will live in this peaceful coexistence unification. And then the rest of them were, living still, had those impulses, but lived within that society in which the unification
My
was more
daughter's
appropriate.
essay for college
No.
was about the United Federation of Planets and how they all came. Because she was active in what do you call the UN? The
Model United
UN.
Nations.
She was active in Model UN in high school. And that all came together when she saw what happened in Star Trek. And then she
Marvelous.
imagined this future inspired by the Star Trek
Isn't that awesome?
model.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then she got older and was crushed by reality.
Oh, you know.
We're moving on.
All right, keep it going.
Hello, Dr. Tyson. My name is Abdul from San Diego. My question, if a non-human intelligence wanted to watch a young civilization without interfering, what would a scientifically plausible observation strategy look like? And would we even recognize it if it were already happening? This is exactly what I was talking about earlier.
So here's the thing. We have already displayed ourselves to the universe by leaked radio waves that have been leaving Earth ever since the Hitler rallies of the 1930s. If you're approaching Earth, you're going to see our leaked radio waves first. And it will be the Hitler waves, and the story Contact made hay out of that.
That's right.
All right. So the aliens first saw Nazis, right? And then the early radio broadcasts, you have like Howdy Doody and Amos and Andy. All right. And then you have the first TV broadcasts, because TV goes straight out. That's why they try to keep it down, but it's escaped.
Then they saw the Kardashians and stopped watching.
Early TV. Kardashians are mostly cable. That's not broadcasting. That's
Yeah,
my point.
that's true, 'cause they don't
gotta
pay for cable, right.
Like Beavis and Butthead is mostly contained on Earth because it's cable TV. So it's the broadcast TV. So you have.
But what about Hulu, which goes over Wi-Fi, which is internet? They probably get that.
Well, yeah, I don't. Yeah, we'll have to think about that.
You'd get some percentage.
You get some of that. Let's take off the gloves and just take on the aliens in the most exotic way possible. Here's my favorite alien, the one who lives in 4 dimensions, and they just hover over us in their 4th dimension. We won't even know they're there. It's like we hovering over the surface of a desk, the 2-dimensional surface of a desk, and the creatures in the desk, they can't see out of the desk because they're locked in the 2 dimensions, and I see and know everything they're doing. So give me some 4-dimensional aliens, and they'll know everything.
As long as they can get close enough without penetrating our 3 dimensions.
Yeah, if they come into our 3 dimensions, we'll know.
That's right.
But if they stay out of it, So a four-dimensional alien has got this.
Is them staying,
and I'm talking about
but is
four-dimensional
them
aliens.
staying out of our dimension, three dimensions, does that limit what they can know?
If you have something inside a box, no one in that two-dimensional world can see inside that box unless you pry it open. We three-dimensional people see right into that box because it has no roof, because a roof needs a third dimension. So the four-dimensional aliens can see inside your body. They can see inside any 3D enclosure. So they would know everything.
In order to see, though, they would have to receive some sort of electromagnetic radiation or other kinds of signals.
Signal.
They would need a receiver. Just like we have our eyes to be able to look on the surface of the
Something would
table.
have to be transmitting to them.
That transmission has to happen.
Right.
And so there is some exchange of energy or subatomic particles of some
Charles
kind
is
or
right.
another. So the detection issue is actually important to know whether or not we can see somebody, whether it's in 3 dimensions or in 4.
Well, in that transmission, couldn't we then become conscious that something is detecting that transmission?
Unless it just leaks out and you don't even know or care.
Right. So we have an alien that's far away and they see our I Love Lucy and My Favorite Martian reruns, right? They could have these wonderful radio antennae or something and they could watch with their radio eyes and then we wouldn't know. But the moment
already been admitted.
Right. But the moment that they tried to interact or to like send some sort of a beam or a radar signal or something, then we could detect them.
Okay. We should move on.
Keep it going.
Yeah. Brian Rawl. Hello, Dr. Tyson. Brian from San Antonio. Is it possible that the universe itself behaves like a form of intelligence with patterns, self-correcting systems, rather than intelligence being something that only emerges within it?
Are you serious?
I got everything in the book. Okay. So here's the thing. The bigger you are, okay, you're still limited by the speed of light. So if you have something the size of the universe and you want it to act as an intelligence, there's a limit to how quickly or efficiently it can move decision-making thoughts across itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because it's limited by the speed of light. And what's the diameter of the universe now? Is 90 billion light years?
Depends on whether you count co-moving or not
so
co-moving coordinates.
today's diameter of the universe,
about 92 billion
92
light years.
billion light years. So if you're an entity that size, and you have the proverbial bald head, and you have an itch, you have to tell your fingernail, which is over here, to scratch it. How long is that going to take to respond? Right. The point is, above a certain size, what we think of as active, functioning intelligence, metabolism, is just not realistic. Because you're limited by actual laws of physics that apply across the universe.
But then how do we distinguish between like a universe that actually has some form of intelligence and one that's just following consistent physical laws?
Well, that depends on your definition of intelligence, right?
If following a physical law is intelligence, then you're Spinoza's God.
That's right.
Right there.
Yeah. The rationalists had a different opinion compared with the existentialists, compared with anybody else. But I think it would be illustrative to think about Earth as a possible intelligence, right? The Gaia hypothesis suggests that, in fact, Earth is alive in its own way, but in a way that we can't understand it, just like an ant cannot understand human intelligence.
The idea was, which I thought was kind of thin and weak in its scientific foundations, but it was a nice New Age thought that Earth somehow is self-regulating. If you're self-regulating, maybe there's some intelligence going on in there.
We're self-regulating too.
Yeah, we keep our body temperature. You get hot, you sweat, it cools you off.
Right.
It's an automatic response.
And the thing is, that's nothing that we think about. I mean, I don't think about myself getting warm and then I warm up. My whole body does it without my conscious thought.
So check this out.
Meaning your body is a separate own intelligent organism, separate from your mind.
It's how you use the word intelligence.
There you go.
But how do you know it's not necessary to have your mind for your body to be self-regulating?
Because there are plenty of people who self-regulate and have no thoughts at all.
Yeah, it's a matter whether you're conscious of it or not. I mean, your body's doing it all by itself. Yes, maybe you need the brain, but if you're not conscious of it...
But the brain could be feeding it through subconscious.
Sure. I'm just saying that in either case... I'm just trying to get us up to the understanding of the Gaia hypothesis.
Gotcha.
So here's an interesting feature of the Gaia hypothesis. Forest fires burn because there's oxygen in the air. There's a limit to how much the forest will burn because at one point there's not enough oxygen to sustain it, and it'll put itself out.
Hence self-regulating.
Then Forests pick up again. And what do trees give off? Oxygen. Okay. So so if the oxygen level gets too high, all the forests would burn and you have nothing left to replace the oxygen. So it's self-regulating in that way. That's one example of a Gaia hypothesis. One thing feeding that hypothesis. So you want to call that intelligence? Okay.
That's an interesting point, right? So Paul was leading, in my opinion, toward a very good point. Do you need the intelligence that exists there in order for us to have such a good self-regulating system, right? In other words, if we were not intelligent, does that mean also we would not be as well regulating of ourselves, right? The answer seems to be no on a biological
look at all the other life
system.
forms. Look at all the other life forms.
Example.
Let's just pick the amoeba, right? The little microscopic blob, right? It regulates. It has little organelles inside it. It gloms around a little.
But how do we know
helpless
it doesn't have a
paranethia.
mind, not as we define the mind? This is what this is the larger point that I'm making.
Right.
We have all of these terms and rules and things that we've figured out on Earth up to this point in 2026. How do we know that the amoeba doesn't have something that's comparable to a human mind, but it's not called a mind, doesn't look like a mind, but can function in a way? So how can you say that with certitude?
I think that's on that level is semantic.
From a scientific perspective, we cannot prove absolutely that it has it, but we can prove, and we've shown already, that it doesn't exhibit it. It doesn't show it, and no amoeba we've ever seen has ever held up a sign saying, "Hey, I'm here." Right?
And I'll show you something else. I used to live in a roach-infested apartment, like when I was in graduate school.
Yeah, I did too in law school. I did in DC.
And I studied roaches, and it's fascinating. Okay, so they will respond to air currents. So if an air current comes in here, it immediately goes this way. So this is how you do it. So the roach is there. If you blow air to its left and just get the thing to its right, and it runs right into your thing. Otherwise, you go to where you go because it feels the air coming down the thing, and you miss it. You will never squash it.
Where were you
center.
in law school? I had so many of them.
So my point is, I would read up on roaches, and apparently their reaction time is they have. If what I read is correct, their legs, I would say their feet, their legs have air sensors that immediately trigger to the leg and don't go through the roach's brain.
Are you familiar with the parasitic wasps that will actually drill a hole into the brain of a cockroach until it follows it around like a zombie? Then you bury it into a little pit and then feed the eggs and the larvae of the parasites.
You are freaking me out
I
right now.
I thought it did that with worms.
Oh, they do it with everything.
Yeah.
There are thousands and thousands of species of parasitic wasps. That's how they survive.
And they have to eat away in such a way that the organism is still alive.
That's right.
So it keeps the nervous system intact.
Okay, one more. Okay, hello, Dr. Tyson. I am Aikia, a regular listener from India living in San Francisco. I wanted to know your thoughts on the dark forest theory presented as a solution to the Fermi paradox in the three-body trilogy, spoiler warnings for others. The dark forest principle says that when each civilization discovers the other, there exists no solution where they do not end up attacking each other. So the universe is teeming with intelligent life, but they are silent to avoid being attacked. That book has raised the bar for first contact themed stories for me, and I cannot enjoy other alien movies anymore.
Wow. Okay, so she's referring to the novel, which of course became the TV
the three-body
series,
problem,
which is still they're waiting for the next season to drop.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So what? Take us there.
I usually think of the context in which the three-body problem was originally written. The author is from mainland China, who is under a pretty repressive regime. Challenges to authority are routinely smacked down, right? That is one interpretation.
And she's from mainland China.
That's correct.
And
the original author.
So some of these themes were, I didn't read the book, I'm sorry, but I saw the series.
That's right.
These themes are captured in the early storytelling in the
this
series.
is why, for example, the dark forest idea is so strong in this series, right? The three-body problem is indeed that the assumption is that if you get any kind of advantage, you must be smacked down. Now, the opposite is like the Vulcans in First Contact, what we were talking about, right? Which happens again, April 5th, 2063. Okay. Now, when that happened, instead, it was a benevolent reaction. everybody got along and everybody enjoyed each other's company. And so the dark forest idea doesn't have to be the only way, but it is a very interesting way in the story because the story unfolds with that as a key plot point.
But this question is written in absolutes. So the universe is teeming with intelligent life, but they are silent to avoid being attacked. Now, that presumes, I assume in the question, that they don't choose to be silent, but they're smacked down, as you put it.
Anyone
right?
who doesn't stay silent is smacked
But
down.
why one civilization sort of dominates, is dominant over another? Why is that? How do we reach that conclusion? How do
Who
you know
smacks down the dominant civilization? Why doesn't it just keep smacking everybody else down?
Without overly
dominant.
without overly spoiling the situation, what basically happens is that other species observe more powerful species smacking down other species.
And it becomes learned
because
behavior?
they've learned that as soon as a spacecraft comes up from some civilization or some species,
That's bad.
some other species shows up and wipes them out. And so if you've learned and you've seen that, you go, oh, we're not going to reveal our presence.
Or
And
you
then-
take a preemptive strike.
or you take a preemptive strike.
So,
and so
someone
you become
is playing whack-a-mole
That's right.
on anybody who rises
and
up.
you become the one that smacks anybody else down. That
But
you
then
see.
ultimately, that person with the who's controlling whack-a-mole, inevitably.
They, in
gets
principle,
whacked.
could take over everybody.
But that's all in sort of our language, our culture, in movies and TV and in books. There is a presumption, right? Because then the story peters out because there's nowhere to go. So that person that's dominant ultimately has to be taken down.
Yep.
But we don't know if that's true.
By someone
in
who's more
actual-
dominant.
By someone that's more dominant. But we don't know if that's actually
so
true.
I think the
Like if
takeaway...
the three of us, okay, and I'm the dominant one, you guys aren't taking me out because I got a pocket protector and you ain't kicking my ass. Period.
I would never try, Paul.
Oh, see, the way you said that, that means you could kill me with 2 fingers. You gave me that deadly look.
with the heart explosion,
Yeah, exactly.
the exploding heart.
Right, yeah.
Thing. I think the takeaway here is if the dark forest hypothesis is accurate, nothing prevents the galaxy from being teeming with life, yet no one knowing anything about it for those reasons given.
Right.
And
Knowing
so,
anything about each other.
because
let's put it
it's
that way.
one of, I give a list of several dozen reasons why we might not have been visited by aliens, and that's one of them. If you don't believe we have actually been visited yet, then you already have the answer. We haven't been visited. So you can make up anything as long as at the end, nobody's visited us. And that's one of them, the dark forest hypothesis.
I can't
Another
say-
one is interstellar space is just really hard to travel. Okay. Another one is intelligent life as we think of it is rarer than we ever imagined. And we could be unique in the galaxy, even if the galaxy is teeming with life. Someone wrote a book with 75 explanations
Really?
to account for the Fermi paradox, and no one haven't visited yet.
Wow. So where are they can be answered 75 different
75,
ways.
at least 75. My favorite answer, let's call it 76, is from our colleague, Steven Soder. Works up here on the 6th floor. I'm on the 5th floor of the Hayden Planetarium. He's on
I
the 6th
remember
floor.
this.
Okay.
He emailed this out.
Steve Soder co-wrote the original Cosmos with Carl Sagan and the first of the 2 Cosmoses that I host. Brilliant guy, knows everything about everything. Okay. He offered an hypothesis. And you know what it is? It's, if you're a species and you want to colonize the galaxy, you'll set up a Mayflower-style colony. They'll go find a planet. They'll build a rocket factory and send 2 rockets out, and they'll build a rocket factory. Say 2. So it'll go from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16.
Propagate.
If you do this, 37 of these trips, you will have enough civilizations to populate every habitable planet in the galaxy. Okay, you can run the math. 37. That's not very many.
No.
And if it takes you, so what if it takes you 100,000 years to travel to the next planet?
Okay.
37 of those is well within the lifetime of the galaxy.
Okay. So in the context of this discussion about aliens, where does that take us?
I'm getting you there. Okay, so what Steve Soder asked was, if you want to colonize planets that badly, and it's deep within you, then it is self-limiting because you start running out of planets.
Not because you run out of knowledge, science,
No.
engineering,
We're running
physics.
out of planets. And then I'm saying, I want that planet, but you already have that planet.
Here we go. Now we got the civilization.
Okay, there we go. Okay, you already have that planet, or
And
the
I'm
other
like,
planet's too far away.
And you come and I'm like, bring it. Bring it. I know you wrestled in high school and college, but you ain't that wrestler now, Tyson. Bring
Okay,
it.
so what he's suggesting is, if you're that hungry for planets, that works at the beginning, but as that continues, you end up fighting each other over the more and more limited real estate, and the entire operation collapses under its own greed.
Okay.
And we can say,
But isn't that going west and what the Native Americans experienced?
this
right?
is forget the whole world experienced this when you had your big colonizing powers. What was England and France and Portugal and Spain and the Netherlands, and that's just Europe. And then you had the Japanese Empire and the Ottoman Empire, and everybody's carving up the world. That works until you want a piece of land that the other colonist already has, and then they fight each other.
Yeah, that's called Russia and the Ukraine.
Yes. It's Spain and it's Spain and Portugal. It's England and how long did England and France fight each other?
100 years.
100. Okay. All right. So we've already seen that because the real estate on Earth is finite, in the same way the planets in the galaxy are finite.
So this is inevitable.
And the whole system imploded. There's not really any colonization going on anymore.
No.
There's just one problem
There's
with
actually
that
been
hypothesis.
decolonization.
What's that? That's right. Decolonizing.
If a decolonization catastrophe happened like that, we should see the results by
We
now.
are. It's been happening slowly over time. This woman is from India. This is the perfect, appropriate. India was under dominant of
the Brits.
Let's say in the alien civilization mentality, okay,
Right.
we imagine the Milky Way galaxy, and there was a British-style colonial situation going on, and there was an Indian-style place happening. If that happened at any reasonable time, we would have seen the results of them destroying each other. We would have seen a war. We would have seen flashes
that
of
just
this and that.
presupposes
We
that
would
we're
have seen these
sophisticated
things.
enough to see it. Maybe
That's
we're
right.
not sophisticated enough
Well,
to see it
in
yet.
that case, we should watch and wait, and maybe we will. That hypothesis is one that can be tested through observation. If we ever see the remnants of a civilization or of a society or a whole bunch of aliens that cause that problem,
Right.
then we will know it happened.
I know we have to wrap. Good point. I want to bring full circle. If that happens, we should put it on pay-per-view and charge for it.
$80?
It's money right there.
There you
know
go.
what I'm talking about?
All right.
Come on.
No, the octagon. I'd like the octagon.
like the
As
I'd like
long as
that.
it has probes sticking out from the side.
There you go.
I think we got to end
We
it
gotta
there.
wrap. This is
Yeah.
like this is an
But
endlessly
I'm feeling a cosmic perspective, though.
This is
Will you give me a I'm feeling one.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm feeling one.
Yeah.
Some of the most successful stories that involve aliens that want to harm us, that want to skin us alive, that want to eat us, that want to destroy civilization, that want to get rid of everything we care about and value. And I had to ask myself, where does that come from? Why are we thinking this? It's our worst nightmare that something more powerful than us descends on Earth and has its way with us. Then I thought, what's it based on? It's based on what we think the aliens will do. It's based on what we suspect they think of us on arrival. But really, when you part the curtains, it's not what we think the aliens will do to us. It's what we know we will do to ourselves in exactly that situation. When a higher technological civilization confronts one of lesser technological prowess, it has never boded well for the lesser technologically advanced civilization, ever. They've been slaughtered, enslaved, imprisoned. All the worst things humans have ever done to one another have manifested when there was a mismatch in the technological prowess of one civilization encountering another. And so we look up at aliens and we want to think the aliens are going to be evil when all we're doing is holding up a mirror to ourselves. And that is a cosmic perspective. This has been Star Talk, the Alien edition of Cosmic Queries. Charles, always good to have you.
Thank you
and
so
we'll look
much.
for your quantum physics book.
Thank you so much.
And you're on stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tour in the country, paulmercurio.com. The show's all
So
over
that
the place.
website has all your
Got all my tour dates coming out for my stand-up show and my off-Broadway show, Permission to Speak. So yeah.
All right. Awesome. You got it. This has been another installment of Star Talk, Cosmic Queries, Alien Edition. We got to do this again, gentlemen. Neil deGrasse Tyson here, as always, bidding you to keep looking up.